Hi, hello. Today I'm going to be talking to you about books that I think you should be reading this spooky season for Halloween. Some of these books are really like horror, gory, gross. Some of these are more like just the vibes of fall and witchiness and, like the Halloween vibes, but not spooky. So I have like a little bit of everything for you. So if you don't like one book, maybe you'll like another book. These are the kind of books that I really enjoy reading all year round. So I have a bunch. So I hope you enjoy at least one of them. So first is actually a graphic novel called Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. And this isn't really a thriller or a horror or anything like that. It's just a really cute, sweet, fall-y, pumpkin-y, Halloween-y, vibey graphic novel. And it's essentially just about these two teens who are working their last year at this pumpkin patch that they've worked, I think, all through high school. They've worked at this pumpkin patch together, and this is their last year that they're working together. And it's just a really cute graphic novel, and I really enjoyed the art style. I read it on Libby, which may be a little weird. I didn't actually have the physical copy, but I enjoyed it just the same, and it was really cute. And I really enjoy, like at the beginning, they have this map of the whole pumpkin patch and everything, and I don't know, it was really cute. So really enjoyed that book if you want something that is just a cute little vibe, short little read. Next is also not really, I don't think, a thriller. Maybe it's a YA thriller. I don't know, but it's witches, and that is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. I feel like I talk about this book a lot. I love this book and the sequel, The Monarchs. It's just about these witches in college. We follow Viv and Scarlett, who are a part of this very prestigious, notorious sorority on this college campus called The Ravens, who only accept witches. And essentially in The Ravens, the first book, they are kind of learning about their powers, and somebody may be taking advantage of the powers in a really bad way, and they have to figure out how to stop them and who it is. And yeah, I don't know, this book is really, really, really cute. I love the witchiness in it. It's set in Savannah, Georgia, which is one of my top favorite places in the world. So this book has high praises from me. All right, next we have two little short novellas. The first being Comfort Me with Apples. And I can't really even explain this book, honestly. I hate when people say that, but it's only 150 pages. And it's like a super quick read. And honestly, anything you say about this book is seriously a spoiler. Like, I got to the end of this book and I was like, what the fuck? That's what I read. That's what was going on the whole book. Got it. Huh. So yeah, I don't know. This book seems to have mixed reviews. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a little fucked up. It was trippy. It was one of those that made you, like, you had to think about it the whole time you were reading it. So the next one is also, like I said, a novella. It's also, I think, 150 pages as well. And this is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. And also the cover, again, very weird, but really cool. This is about two people who meet on like a social media kind of site and form this kind of relationship. And since it's a novella and it's so short, that's all I'm going to say about it, because it's weird and it's creepy and it's about social media and like people being creepy on social media, and we all have been there. So very good book, very short. I think I read it in like an hour when I think I took a break from the boat and read it in like an hour because I couldn't put it down. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So yeah, very good book. All right, moving into more thrillery. These will like it does that like make your chest tight, very anxious kind of feeling. And the first one is Slewfoot by Brahm, I think. Oh my God. Again, the cover. A lot of thriller horror books have great covers. Like, you cannot deny that. Slewfoot, another witchy book. I have to admit, I love my witches. Anything about witches, you're probably going to guarantee that I'm going to read. So yeah, Slewfoot is about, I believe her name is Agatha. It's been a little while since I read this, but I believe her name is Agatha. She's like married into this Puritan like community where obviously the man is the head of the house and the woman has to listen, and essentially her husband ends up dying and she has to figure out how to live in this Puritan Christian community as a witch and as this woman whose husband just died. And it's not, that's not a cool, fun, fresher, like interesting time back then as a woman when your husband died. It's not now, but even you get what I'm saying, right? Like it was very much so like not the norm to navigate life as a single woman back then. So a lot, and you have a lot of characters that you're just like, just kill him, Agatha. Just kill him, girl, because I would. If I had your powers, I'd be like, gun, goodbye, you're out of my life. Her brother-in-law, yeah, that book, I was like, oh, do something. Okay, the next one is another absolute favorite of mine, and it's a weird favorite. So if you like weird, creepy books, Bunny is definitely going to be up your alley. Honestly, I don't think I would have loved this book as much if I wouldn't have read it in a book club, and there wouldn't have been discussions about it, because this is one of those books that is heavily like up to the reader's interpretation. She doesn't lay out a lot for you in this, and it's weird and it's dark. And by the end, you're just kind of like, do I understand what just happened? Or am I really dumb? So if you want to read a book with your friends this season, maybe pick this up. Yeah, it's another like college book. This girl is in college. Her name is Sam. And she is in a writer's college, I believe. And there's only a couple people in her class. And it's this group of girls who refers to themselves as the bunnies. And it just kind of goes from there. And I don't even, like, it's another one of those books you don't really know how to explain, because my interpretation of it could definitely be different from yours and everybody else's. What I took away from this book was a lot that other people may not have taken away from it. But yeah, this is weird, creepy, interesting. I think everybody should read this book just because it's so weird. This next one is another wild ride. This is another book that really kind of makes you like anxious. And it's called Just Like Mother. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. The covers. So cool. The doll head on this cover. Love. If you like cults, anything cult related, this is the book that you need to read. It is about this woman who has escaped this cult, and she's reconnecting with people who she used to be in the cult with, and navigating life of like trying to build relationships with these people who she used to like call sisters and stuff, and then learning about this cult that they were in, and like, it's wild and it's great. And witches and cults, those are the two things you can market your book as, and I'm going to pick it up every single time. I don't know why. I'm so fascinated in cult, religion kind of things, and this was everything. Okay, and these next two, to me, kind of go hand in hand. I think it would kind of be fun to read both of these back to back, because Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, they're both by Grady Hendrix, by the way. Yeah, so Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is about these adults these ladies are in this book club that's very stale and boring, and none of them likes the book that they're reading. But they start reading Anne Rice, the true crime books, and they fall in love. And then this weird man moves into town, and everybody falls in love with him, except for one lady in the group. And she's like, hold on, he's creepy as shit. What do y'all mean he's cool? And everybody's, gaslighting her. telling her she's crazy. She should just love him like everybody else. This is another book that's just going to make you be like, girl, just break up with your friends, break up with your husband, break up with your town, leave. Ugh, could not be me. But in the end, you're like, yes, yeah, queen. Yeah, love Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Hand in hand with My Best Friend's Exorcism, which is about high schoolers dealing with typical high school bullshit like stuck-up rich bitches and bully jocks and parents that just don't understand my life. But like mix in some devil and possession with it, and you've just got a cocktail for like a really, really fun book. And a ton of 80s references, which I myself am not an 80s baby, but my sister was, and I grew up with a lot of like 80s music and influence and stuff. So also when I worked in surgery, weirdly, surgeons love listening to 80s music in surgery. Fun fact. So yeah, I don't know. I think My Best Friend's Exorcism was really, really fun, but I think reading these back to back, seeing like the parents' point of view from Southern Book Club and then like the kids' point of view from My Best Friend's Exorcism. I don't know. I think they're both really, really good. If I had to just choose one, I'd say Southern Book Club because that one just, This is the last like real thriller. I keep like burping. This is the last like thriller, like light thrillery. I don't know if you can consider half of these light, except for the first two. Anyways, Last House on Needless Street. This is another book you can't really explain because anything I say about this book, it's going to be a spoiler because it's one of those that you think like you start it and you're like, what do you mean people can't explain this book? Because I know everybody you've seen talk about this book, they're like, we can't explain it because you just can't. And so when you start reading this, you're like, of course you can explain it. It's like obvious. But then you keep going and there's like a couple reveals and you're like, oh shit. No, I had no clue that that's what was going to happen. And then you get another reveal and you're like, oh my God, that's what was it's like one of those things like, oh my God, that's what I was reading the whole time. Yeah, it's a paranormal book. There's a cat, Olivia. You get her whole perspective. She has chapters from her point of view, which very cute, very cute. Yeah, I don't know. Last House on Needless Street, I really, really, really enjoyed this book. These last four books are more on the heavy side, I think. They definitely lean more towards horror instead of like thriller. So think more like there's definitely some gore, some like killing scenes, like heavy killing scenes. So if that's not your jam, the last part of the video, Last House on Needless Street, is probably the last book that you will be interested in. And so thank you for watching. But if you are interested in those, let me tell you about the first one, which is Stolen Tongues. And this book also has a lot of mixed reviews, but this book thoroughly creeped me out. I started reading this at night and had to stop because I was terrified. I also sleep with my partner who on occasion does sleep talk, which is terrifying. This book is about sleep talking. It's about this man's fiance who sleep talks to these unknown entities throughout the night at this isolated like cabin in the woods, and just thoroughly creepy. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's just creepy. The next book is The Shuddering. And this book, honestly, was everything. If you hate, I'm the kind of person, for whatever reason, I hate that in every piece of like media, movie, TV shows, everything, there has to be a love interest. There are plenty of really cool stories that don't need a love story, especially horror books. Like not every needs to get with who they need to be. It doesn't need to be a happy ending in horror movies, in my opinion. So The Shuddering gave me every and anything I wanted. If you think you know what's going to happen and these two characters are going to fall in love, probably rethink that. People are getting their shit wrecked on this mountain. And we're mostly following this group of like young adults who are on their like last hurrah as a friend group or something like that. And yeah, you just also see this monster just plowing through the mountain, killing people. And it's great. Honestly, loved it. 10 out of 10. The ending, 10 out of 10. I loved it. Amazing. All right, next was my first slasher book that I've ever read, and that is Camp Slaughter. And I know, again, not a lot of people like this book. And I don't know why, because I really enjoyed it. It kind of gave me like Jason, Camp Crystal Lake vibes, because it was set at an abandoned summer camp. That's where the serial killer like lived. That's where his lair was, I guess you could say. And he like killed in the vicinity. There were like, cabins that people would come vacation to. He kills in the vicinity of that. And yeah, you follow, again, I think we follow this group of teens who were going up to this remote cabin, and they don't know, obviously, that the serial killer's there, but there's like legends or like myths about people go into these forests or these woods and never leave or something like that. And then you also follow like these two podcasters who are also going there, but they obviously do know of the legends and like people missing and things like that out there. And then you also get like the perspective of the serial killer and how fucked up that is. And a lot of people said like you sympathize with the serial killer. I did not. Through and through, I thought he was a really shitty person. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting book. And like I said, it was the first slasher book I read, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. It was really cool. Like I said, really gave me Camp Crystal Lake Jason vibes. So the last book that I'm going to talk about, which is most arguably the most gory, fucked up book of the lot, and that is Off Season. And this is the most recent book that I read, and I wanted something like that was like a true horror book, and I got it. When I first started reading this, I think like the first page, it talks about like these black-eyed children are coming up to this person and like talking to her. So I thought, oh, this is going to be like a black-eyed children story, but it's not. It's not. It's about cannibals. It's about cannibals. So there's that. And yeah, you just see these, like, it's like a community of cannibals living in rural Maine. And the same as like Camp Slaughter and the other ones, it's like this isolated area that people come to vacation sometimes and end up getting eaten. Whoops. Very gory, but I really enjoyed it. It was really good, or it wouldn't be on this list. So yeah, those are all of the books that I think would be perfect to read this October. So if any of them have tickled your fancy, please read them. Let me know if you liked them. Yeah. Anyways, please press like and subscribe if you would like to stick around. I would very much so appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day or night or whatever time it is when you're watching this. Thank you so much. Bye.